Here we are. We're live. 660. Bring this up here and see where we're at. Okay. So I have to estimate like how many tanks I actually have through this thing. My guess would be 15. I don't know if anybody's going to join me on live chat, but that's fine. It's early morning. I happen to have off today. And yeah, so again, my 660, and this AV mount here is leaving something to be desired. And I don't know how, I mean, I'm not that, yes, I did put this all together, but I'm not that familiar with these, so I don't know if there's an easy way to get to that, or we got to do it the hard way. Dude West, good morning. Paul Borden, good morning. Wow, there are people on. Okay, cool. I didn't know if I'd get anybody, you know. So I don't really know how to undo this, but we're gonna, I guess, stumble forward on that, because it sure looks like this AV mount went bad. And I also have a treat for this saw here coming up. So we'll explore that. 1, 2. Okay, so I got the full wrap handle here coming off. We got 6 people here, so I'll tell you guys a funny story. So I was out this morning. Kevin Morgan's here. Good morning. So I was outside this morning, getting the kids on the bus, and I was doing the garbage. I got the kids on the bus, and I was bringing the garbage in because it was out at the side of the road, and this black car pulls up and says, "Hey, Matt, I'm Hybrid Woodworks." I'm like, huh? So it turns out one of my subscribers, Hybrid Woodworks, literally drove past my house this morning and said hello to me. How cool is that? How cool is that? Couldn't believe it. Figure you guys like that story. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh dear, how am I going to get to that darn thing? Because it sure looks like the tank is covering the bolts. Does that mean I got to take the tank off? I'm not going to be too happy about that. Wow, that does get kind of gunked up, doesn't it? See, I think these things are cheap enough that you could probably just, when they get gunked, just toss them, get a new one. Whatever. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to take that tank off. That's going to be kind of annoying. So yeah, so I have an OEM AV mount here. It looks like it'll go. while I'm doing this, I guess I might as well check the torque on the head bolts. This darn thing out first. Okay. Right, now I gotta pull this off. Okay. That off. Now I don't think I can get this off without doing the spark plug, or can I? Oh, I can't. Look at that. Okay. So where are we at after 15 tanks here? Looks like it's just dirty. I just give the head bolts a quick, touch. They all seem to be firm. So that's good, so I don't have to worry about that. Can I actually get to that bolt? Maybe I can just remove like that lower AV screw and wrench it. I don't know. Because it looks like I can get to this screw here. Yeah, there's one. So I can get to that one. By the way, I really dislike these covers, just for the record. Always have. Morning, James. Just doing an AV mount here on my Chinese 660. I'm trying to figure out how to take this apart without taking the whole thing apart. Because if I can get to this screw without taking the tank off, that'd be a whole lot more convenient. Actually, I probably need to release that AV mount, which means I need to take the starter off. Lovely. BA Dan. Dan, I'm trying to get rid of this this Chinese AV mount here. Kind of went to crap on me, so I'm trying to put in this one, the OEM AV mount right here on this Chinese 660. Overall, I think the saw is performing pretty good. I'm pretty sure that yeah, this is the cross cylinder head. This is the Mastermind Work Saw cross cylinder head that I did touch up at least a little bit, not too much, but it's running pretty good. I know some guys have had trouble with it, but overall I've used the saw a bit, and it's been pretty good. So I happen to have off today, so I figured I'd come down here and see if I can fiddle with this thing, you know? AV screw. Making sure the bolts are tight on the ignition coil. They are. That's good. Maybe. Of course, I don't want to tear the intake boot, because that's kind of the other thing that's limiting this. What the heck's that? Piece from that, probably. Great. It looks like it would actually be easier if this rubber piece was out. So let's pull the rubber piece out. I don't know if I can. These rubber pieces kind of go in to stay, you know. Dude West. How old is the chainsaw? I've got like 15 tanks on it. I built it. I don't know. I think it's probably in one of the videos. Yeah, let's get the pliers here. I'm now becoming convinced that these AV mounts are not something that come out easy. There we go. Coming. Actually, if you want to know what extracting a tooth looks like, that actually feels a whole lot like this. Except for the fact is the tooth is not rubber. So will this give me a little more play? Clank, clank. What is it? The answer is it probably doesn't matter. I think I can get to it now. I mean, the intake boot seems to be okay. Not a big fan of the Chinese rubber, but overall that seems to be all right. going to jam something in here to hold it. That's not going to work. Great. I'll go by hand. I'm going to get this back in here, though. May or may not be able to do it. Okay, so let's look at this. That's no good, obviously. It looks like there's almost nothing here to prevent this from spinning. Like, this metal piece actually needs to be rough or something like that. And then rubber cemented into there, and then it would probably be okay. Here's the new OEM one. Whatever. Junk. Okay. Try to do this back one first because it was a little easier to get to. Okay, that back one's good. Not going to fully tighten it yet. Morning, John. Just working on my Chinese 660 here. I've got an AV mount that went bad. And for those guys that missed the story, this morning I went outside to, I got the kids on the bus. The kids are on the bus, and as the kids get on the bus, I'm grabbing the garbage can that was out there because it had just gotten emptied. And bring the garbage can back to, and the small black car stops, and a guy leans out the window and says, "Hey, Matt, I'm Hybrid Woodworks." So apparently, Hybrid Woodworks drives past where I live. Couldn't believe it this morning. Had to tell my wife, and she couldn't believe it either. That went. This back a little bit. We're going to do this one. Finish that off. Right there. Good. Now the question is, which one was for the AV mount? I think it was this one, the long one. Actually, not going to put any Loctite on that. Leave it right where it was. There you go. Okay. Tools pay less. How's it going? You need a longer screw and tap to the back plate. Tools pay less. I'm going to have to read this again. Hang on a second. You need a longer screw and tap to the back plate. What back plate? No, it's two short AV screws because they've it goes right into the chassis here. Two short ones go into the chassis, and the long one goes into the design. Same as the old style saws. Yeah, this is the old style, the 660 style saw. They had one with a spring in that position, though. I don't remember them having a spring. This is technically the hard rubber mount, at least according to Nate. I am not super familiar with these, so beyond that, I'm not going to be much help. They actually had a spring mount here, though. The back of the mount is rubber. There's a little rubber tab that sticks out the back of the mount. And welcome to the live stream, by the way. Or to a live stream, one of them. I do a lot of stumbling forward, so. That. Yeah, there's a metal piece inside the rubber. It's built into the rubber. Here, hang on. Here's this is the old mount. This is actually the Chinese mount. There's a metal plate. Two small screws hold the metal plate on, and then there's this metal insert that is looks like it's threaded for M5 machine screw. But this is the Chinese mount. This is not the yeah, you get the idea. Tap it and put in a little longer screw. You don't need to. I mean, this screw holds that fine. So this is like an inch long. I don't see why you'd need to have a longer screw in there. The issue here was that this metal piece came out. I think this is just a crappy design by the Chinese. This is actually an OEM part. So I don't think you need a longer screw in there. This is plenty long, considering it's just holding up against rubber, you know. I mean, I guess you could put you know, if you wanted to go and do something completely weird, you could. No, it's really not designed for that. It's really, there's a plastic piece here that looks like it actually touches up against this rubber and helps kind of with the AV a little bit as well. It will rip again. Again, probably not. This is at least not soon. And the reason is because this is an OEM part. This is a Chinese rubber part. These are junk. Yes, Husky decomp. Gotta say, I've been impressed with the quality of the Huztl engine cases for the 440. So have I, John. So have I. They really work quite well, I think. Everybody just the good news is I'm not. So the likelihood of this ripping within the time period that I use it is probably going to be very low. Payless, correct me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, the 660 and the 440 cases I think have been good. The OEM's ripped too. If the if the OEM's ripped, then what I might do, we'll see. You guys will know in real time if something happens here. So, um, you're saying drill it out like all the way out and basically put a nut on the other side, because I see you could potentially do that. And that way the whole thing gets held together. You could put a lock nut on the other side or even a clip just to hold the whole thing together. James has a dumb question. It's the meds talking. You still in the hospital, James? The Chinese rubber has been not so good. Has been known to be not so good. So, although at least on the intake boot, it seems to be okay. At least for now, for what I'm doing with it. Original equipment manufacturer, OEM. So OEM is original equipment manufacturer. This is a steel part as opposed to a aftermarket Chinese part. Came home yesterday. Good. Just a way to make them last longer. The spring mount did have a nut built. Interesting. I didn't know spring mount was available for that. I think one of the overall complaints of these 660s is that the spring mounts aren't available and that the rubber mounts just transmit more vibration here than, say one of the larger Husky saws, which have spring mount. Like, for instance, spring mount being like a 288 XP. Yeah, it's for sure an interesting idea with the trying to make these things last longer. Again, for what I do, it probably won't make a hoot of difference, but for those guys, I mean, if you're falling with these, then obviously that's a very different environment than I use my saws in, Yeah, James, it is possible that OEM and aftermarket are effectively the same thing. On occasion, that does happen. Generally, it's expected that original parts will last longer than aftermarket parts, but it depends on the part, and it depends on really what you're asking to do of it, you know? Now what part goes on? Probably the top cover. Yeah, definitely a Husky D comp on this. Oh, crap. Crap. See, I'm not used to the steels, and you make stupid mistakes, like this ignition coil wire needs to be in the slot, right there, when you put the cover on. That type of dumb thing, you know? Anybody have any questions, comments? It's always nice to have different perspectives here. You know, I come from the perspective of, you know, I buck with this once in a while. I cut cants off the sawmill, you know, once in a while. So it's not like I'm, you know, using this in a falling environment. It's just, it's a very different thing that I'm asking of it, you know. Not doing tree work. When's lunch? Hopefully soon, actually. Dude West, take care. Thanks for coming by. Hey, Ellie. And 090 to 090. How's it going? Thought Huztl Farm yeah, Huztl labels their fully built saws as either the Holt Pharmas or the John Cutters now, I guess, or whatever the heck they are. Remember, this is a parts kit that I put together with mostly Chinese parts. It's not completely Chinese, of course, because I wouldn't do that. Take care, John. Yeah, I think this has been a fine saw to work on. I think this is probably the best bang for buck out of all the chainsaw kits that you can get. You know, it definitely gives you, I mean, for the money, you get the most power. I'm not sure if, like the 200T kit they have, I'm not sure if that's overall going to be worth it, because you're going to have to change out so many parts for OEM on that to make it so that it's a really good saw, you know. So if you need to do that, you might as well have started with an OEM builder, I think. I'm going to have to blow that out later with some air. So now I got the AV mount back there. That's good. No, don't have any extra screws other than the top handle. So let's put the handle back on. And I've got a treat for this thing. You guys will see in a second. And I do like the wrap handle. I think it's more robust than the original Farmer Tech handle. I think Walt's probably right. You got to get that highway handle if you want the half wrap to be robust. But I don't see anything wrong with this Farmer Tech one, assuming it's a wrap handle. I think it's just a more robust piece, you know. And they're not that expensive. Okay. Where is it? Where did I put it? Man. Thought I brought it down here. Pretty sure I brought it down here. I got a brand new bar for this thing. Brandy new bar. Question is, where the devil did I put it? I don't know. Isn't that awesome? Maybe it's still upstairs. Hang on. Okay, so I know that I said I was going to be doing all Sujiharas, but I had to try out this Samura. And it is light, I'll tell you what. Illy, I've never actually tried a meteor top end. She tried it. So I can't rightly help you there. I gotta imagine they're better than average, but it depends on what saw you're doing, you know? Again, this is all Nate sent this stuff to me. Nate Van Sickle. If you guys want, you can be part of the there's a Facebook chainsaw repair group, and you can find Nate on there. He is performance outdoor equipment. And he's in Newcomerstown, Ohio. Boy, this chain is lubed. And I don't quite need it out that far. So let's get a flat in here. Here's my flat blade. See, the chain adjuster is working pretty good now. Too far back. Get it back, more or less like that. Put on the cover. Again, I can hit this off the air later. Bar nuts on. And that looks darn good if you ask me. Yeah, I agree, Gavin. Probably a good idea to do that. It's one of those parts that gets used a lot, so I have no problem imagining that would be a really good idea, you know. On. It's pretty tight. Maybe a little loose. I gotta these chains stretch anyway, so what do you guys think, huh? I think that looks pretty good. Now if they just made the Samura logo in orange, it would, or white, it would fit much better, I think. But whatever, you know. See, the 28 still balances a little nose heavy, even as light as it is. Still balances a little nose heavy. But I guess that's not a problem. Feels good. There's your pop, guys. I know. Had to do it, right? That's fine. Oh, yeah. That's going to work good. All right. But will it last? Yeah, I don't know. It looks good. For what I do, it'll last. I'm pretty convinced of that. Uh-oh. A Fleet Command just uploaded a video. Cold windy day, field testing, the 372 and the 660. So, go check out Walt's video. I guess he's out there cutting. As opposed to me, I'm not cutting. I'm just playing, you know? Actually, you know what I got to do? I got to go to Harbor Freight, I think. And I think I got to get a new caliper because I can't find my other one. I don't know where that went. Just easier to go buy new. And I need to get a set of pliers with a 90-degree end on them so that I can play with that other tank shoe that we had on the 372, because I want to work that out. I want to get to a couple other guys' ideas on how to approach that. I want to explore those options and see if they're good. So anyway, I think that's it that I have for the morning. I will probably be on later, and maybe we'll play with that tank a little bit later. I gotta sharpen a chain too. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just swap that chain out right now. Let's do that. Oh, this is ready to rock. I needed to swap this chain out on the 372 here. See, I don't even know if this chain is worth even trying to save. The amount that I would have to grind this is considerable. You know? That's a lot of grinding. It probably has one more life to live, but not much. Because this really got rocked. So this is the as-is saw, and this is running really good. This has a lot of pop. Running an 8-pin rim on this for 20-inch. It's real fast. Well, James, good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment. And I've had plenty of bad judgment, and you guys have seen that here on the channel, where things don't always go right. You know? Trying to learn, but things don't always go right. They don't go your way, you know? I think the Samuras are lighter. I know that there are guys that have done a lot of bar comparisons and head-to-heads and whatnot, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I think the Samuras are lighter than the Sugiharas. The Sujis probably have a little bit more of a robust tip. Whatever. I don't know if you guys can see how badly rocked that is. But from here, 2 millimeters back is peened over. So that's going to take a lot of grinding to get back. A lot of grinding and work. I'm just going to toss it because I don't mind sharpening chain, but, you know, it's going to take forever just to get a 20-inch chain back. It's not worth it. Not worth it. Oh, this one. This one we were grinding on and we didn't quite finish. So I guess let's finish this one for grinding, and then we can put it on this saw. Definitely do that. This is LGX, which I believe is discontinued at this point in favor of the new EXL. Different profile, but they're grinding it now with better grinders. So their factory grinder is probably a CBN wheel, and it lasts a nice long time, and they get a much more even grind, I guess, on these things. So, you know, they can put whatever profile on it they want, and from what I've seen, you know, does it cut a whole lot better? Not necessarily, but a little bit, you know. But as far as from the factory, right? Yeah, for a 20-inch chain, it's just not worth it. It would take a long time, and you know, at the end of the day, the chains don't cost that much anyway. So, and I have a bunch, like a bunch of them. So I just need to sharpen this other thing up, and then we'll kind of call it here for the morning. And yes, I want the chain even, so I'm gonna right around 350. Okay. So I've got one side of this done. Let's do the other side, which happens to be this direction. Bit much. pretty good. So what's everybody else doing today? I'm grinding chain. I mean, clearly. Good, James. Take a break. So yeah, so about the EXL, the thing is, like, they want an out-of-the-box grind that's good, so that's great. So they're getting a better out-of-the-box grind. The thing is, I think that once you put a hand file on it, it's not going to be any different than regular old LGX, you know? Personally, I like LGX just fine. You know? Thanks, Ellie. That chain looks pretty good. And it's only 20 inch, so it doesn't take me that long. For a really rock chain. Actually, this one isn't too bad. But the guy that gave me this chain just, you know, uses them out of the box. So he uses them right out of the box, and that's all he cares about is out of the box, how good is it? You know, uses it until it stops cutting, and then toss it to the side and get a new one. 6 or 7 more links. Then I gotta go to Harbor Freight. Nice clean metal all the way to the tip. so that's like a really good start. Since I'm going to be hand filing this is a really good start to get that sharp. Hand file it the rest of the way. You know? And then you adjust the rakers as you need to. Nice. Suji back on here. I can take this out in the shed. And adjust the rakers. There we go. Cool. Now we're back up and running there. Two saws I can bring out of the basement. Nice. So that's it. I'll call it for the morning. If I can come on later, I will. Looks like Walt's got a video up. I suggest you guys check that out. And if you guys want to do the chainsaw repair group on Facebook, I'm there occasionally. Sometimes that can be a pretty cool place to hang out. So I suggest you check that out. The chainsaw repair group is led by Kevin Smith. So that's who you got to talk to for that. Anyway, what else? Performed Outdoor, who's in Newcomerstown, Ohio, and all that stuff. Thanks, James. I don't think I'm going to be doing much cutting today. We might be moving around some stacks of wood, but we got a tractor for that, so I got a buddy coming over with a tractor. And yeah, that's about that, okay? Everybody, be safe out there. Thanks so much for hanging out. Do appreciate it. I'll try to be on later, okay? We'll try. And maybe I'll have something cool for you guys. We'll see. Take care, okay?